In this video, we're going to uncover 12 scientifically proven things that can ruin a first impression immediately. Have you ever walked away from a meeting or a first date thinking, I really could have done better? First impressions are everything, and here's the shocking part. People form an opinion about you within just 7 seconds of meeting you. That's all it takes. But don't worry, in today's video, we're counting down 12 things that could be instantly ruining your first impression. And yes, some of these might surprise you. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to avoid to leave an impression that sticks, for all the right reasons. Whether it's a job interview, a first date, or meeting a new friend, your first impression sets the stage for everything that follows. And trust me, you don't want to miss number 1, so let's dive in. Number 12, a weak handshake. Let's start with something many people overlook, the handshake. You might think handshakes are no big deal, but they actually send a powerful message about who you are and how confident you feel. A weak handshake can make people see you as shy, uninterested, or even incompetent. This judgment happens subconsciously, and once it's formed, it's hard to change. Handshakes matter, especially in professional settings where confidence is key. Studies show that people with firm handshakes are often perceived as more capable and confident, while those with weak handshakes are seen as less competent. So, what's the perfect handshake? It should be firm but not too strong. You're not trying to crush their hand. Hold their hand for about 2 seconds, look them in the eye, and give a warm smile. That small gesture can make all the difference in how people perceive you from the very first moment. And here's a quick tip. Avoid lingering too long with your handshake. It can quickly get awkward, and no one wants that. Number 11. Poor eye contact. Eye contact is one of the most important ways we communicate non-verbally, and it's a huge part of making a good first impression. If you're avoiding eye contact, you might come across as nervous, untrustworthy, or disinterested. People want to feel like they're being listened to and respected, and eye contact is the easiest way to show that. On the other hand, maintaining too much eye contact can make people feel uncomfortable, almost like you're trying to intimidate them. It's all about finding that sweet spot. A good rule of thumb is to maintain eye contact about 60 to 70% of the time during a conversation. This shows that you're engaged and confident without making the other person feel like they're under a microscope. And remember, eye contact norms can vary from culture to culture. In some places, direct eye contact is considered aggressive, while in others, it's a sign of respect. So if you're dealing with people from different cultures, it's always worth doing a little research on what's appropriate. Number 10, being late. Let's be honest, no one likes waiting around. When you show up late, it signals that you don't value the other person's time, which can leave a negative impression before you've even said a word. Whether it's for a job interview, a meeting, or even a casual coffee catch-up, being late tells the other person that their time isn't as important as yours. This can make you seem unorganized, unreliable, and disrespectful. The last thing you want is for someone to think that you're not taking the situation seriously. To avoid this, always plan to arrive at least 5 to 10 minutes early. Not only does this show that you're reliable, but it also gives you a moment to collect yourself and mentally prepare before the interaction begins. If you're early, you can check your appearance, take a few deep breaths, and approach the conversation with confidence. It's a small step, but it makes a big difference. Number 9, constantly checking your phone. In today's tech-obsessed world, it's easy to fall into the trap of constantly checking your phone, but when you're meeting someone for the first time, this habit can seriously hurt your first impression. Checking your phone during a conversation, especially during those crucial first moments, signals that you're distracted and not fully engaged. It makes the other person feel like they're less important than whatever's happening on your screen. And even if you're just glancing at your phone for a second, it sends a message that you're not fully present. Here's an easy fix. Before you enter the meeting or conversation, put your phone on Do Not Disturb and keep it out of sight. When you show that you're giving the other person your undivided attention, it helps build a connection and shows that you respect them. This small gesture will leave a lasting positive impression and make the other person feel valued. Number 8, bad posture. We often think about what we say when we meet someone for the first time, but we rarely think about how we're holding ourselves. Your posture says a lot about you before you've even spoken a word. If you're slouching, crossing your arms, or looking uncomfortable, it sends a message that you're disinterested, nervous, or even unapproachable. People are more likely to feel comfortable around you when you project confidence and openness, and good posture is a huge part of that. Standing or sitting up straight with your shoulders back not only makes you look more confident, but it also makes you feel more confident. Studies show that good posture can actually boost your self-esteem, which will naturally make you come across as more self-assured and engaging. So next time you're about to meet someone new, take a moment to check your posture. It might seem like a small detail, but it makes a huge difference in how you're perceived. Number 7, over-apologizing. Saying sorry is polite when necessary, but over-apologizing can actually hurt your image. When you apologize too much, especially for things that don't require an apology, it can make you seem insecure or overly self-critical. People who apologize excessively may come across as seeking approval or validation, which can weaken your overall presence and make you seem less confident. Instead of apologizing for everything, save your apologies for moments that really matter. For example, if you're late or you've made a mistake, then of course an apology is appropriate. But apologizing for things like speaking up, asking questions, or taking up space can make you seem unsure of yourself. Try replacing "I'm sorry" with "thank you for your patience," or simply moving forward without apologizing at all. It will make you appear more confident and in control of the situation. Number 6, forgetting names. There's nothing more awkward than forgetting someone's name right after they've introduced themselves. It gives the impression that you weren't paying attention or didn't care enough to remember. Names are a powerful tool in building rapport and connection, so making an effort to remember someone's name is an easy way to leave a positive impression. One of the best tricks to remember names is to repeat the person's name right after they introduce themselves. For example, "Nice to meet you, Jessica." Repeating their name helps it stick in your memory, and it also shows the other person that you're paying attention. If you can, try associating their name with something memorable, like their profession or where they're from. For example, Jessica from marketing or Sarah from Seattle. This little trick can go a long way in making the other person feel recognized and valued. Number 5, nervous fidgeting. Nervous habits like fidgeting, tapping your foot, or playing with your hair might seem harmless, but they can actually signal to others that you're uncomfortable or unprepared. Fidgeting draws attention away from what you're saying and can make you seem distracted or anxious. In professional or formal settings, this can hurt your credibility and make it harder for people to take you seriously. To manage nervous habits, focus on grounding yourself in the moment. Take a few deep breaths, keep your hands still, and be mindful of your body language. The more you can project calm and composure, the more confident you'll appear, even if you're feeling nervous on the inside. It's all about controlling the little things that can distract from the bigger message you're trying to send. Number 4, talking too much about yourself. It's natural to want to share things about yourself when you meet someone new, but be careful not to dominate the conversation. Talking too much about yourself can come across as self-centered and leave the other person feeling overlooked. Conversations should be a two-way street, and people appreciate it when you show genuine interest in them. Instead of making the conversation all about you, ask open-ended questions and listen actively to the other person's responses. Show that you're interested in their experiences and opinions. When people feel heard and understood, they're more likely to walk away with a positive impression of you. It's a simple but powerful way to build rapport and make the other person feel valued. Number 3, dressing inappropriately. Your appearance is the first thing people notice about you, and dressing inappropriately for the occasion can instantly give off the wrong impression. Whether you're dressed too casually for a formal event or too flashy for a professional setting, your outfit sends a message about how seriously you take the situation. Studies show that 55% of a first impression is based on appearance, so it's important to dress appropriately for the context. When in doubt, it's always better to be slightly overdressed than underdressed. A neat, polished appearance shows that you're taking the interaction seriously and that you respect the other person and the situation. It's not about being flashy or wearing expensive clothes. It's about looking put together and appropriate for the occasion. Number 2, being too pushy. Coming across as too pushy in a conversation or situation can make people feel uncomfortable. Whether it's interrupting, trying to dominate the discussion, or pushing your point of view too aggressively, this behavior can make others feel like you're not listening to them or respecting their opinions. Being pushy can quickly turn a positive first impression into a negative one. The key to a successful conversation is balance. Give the other person space to share their thoughts and don't be afraid to let the conversation flow naturally. People appreciate it when you respect their opinions and listen actively. When you create a balanced dialogue, you show that you're open-minded and respectful, which leaves a much better impression than trying to force your point of view. Number 1. Invading personal space. Personal space is a huge factor in how comfortable people feel around you. Invading someone's personal space, whether by standing too close or touching them when they're not comfortable, can make the other person feel uneasy or even threatened. This is especially important when meeting someone for the first time. Experts recommend keeping at least 4 feet of space between you and the other person when meeting for the first time. This shows that you respect their personal boundaries and are aware of their comfort. Standing too close can come across as aggressive or invasive, while standing too far away can make you seem distant or uninterested. Finding that perfect balance helps create a positive, comfortable atmosphere for both of you. And there you have it. 12 things that might be secretly ruining your first impression. But now that you know what to avoid, you're well on your way to making lasting positive impressions in any situation. Which of these tips surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. If this video helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could use a first impression makeover. Remember, it only takes 7 seconds to make or break a first impression, so make those seconds count.